Silas from RE.WORK. So I'm Silas, not the robot on screen. That is one of the works I've created. I recently graduated from an undergraduate robotics course, and over the 4 years of my studies, I spent those 4 years working with kids and adults alike, trying to get them interested in STEM subjects and robotics. And through those 4 years, I learned quite a profound lesson that before you can ever get them involved, or before you can ever get them to have a lasting interest, you first have to capture their imagination. And that was something I realized about a year ago. And I believe so much in creating products that captures imagination that I created a company around it. You'd like to see yourself there. So I've created a company with a team of about 6 people. I've got 2 very great advisors, and we're also part of Z-Squared business incubator. And what my company does is create products that captures imagination. But I'll tell you a bit more about that. Today I'm focusing on the trends in entertainment robotics. So the traditional type of robotic entertainment robots that you know are the robotic pets. So for example, Sony Iber. So these came out around the early 2000s. But they never really took off because the level of intelligence you have in these kind of products is nowhere compared to the kind of intelligence you have in a pet. So a cat, for example. And people end up being quite underwhelmed, so which is why you don't see robotic dogs or cats running around the streets today. Then you move on to the next section, which is robotic toys. There are a lot of products that fall under this, and when you try and start to define what is a robot, you can get in quite a mess. But I really like this idea because everyone accepts, it's a robotic toy. And this is where you need to focus on if you want to get your products into people's hands, if you want to get your products into people's homes, because these are the things that bring smiles to people's faces. And then you have the final stuff, which are show robots. So trade shows, for example. That is a robot called Titan. It's not even a robot, it's a guy in a costume, but everyone just assumes it's a robot because they've stuck this brand on it. So today I'll be looking into the robotic toys and consumer robot kind of space. So some insight into the current state of the industry at the moment. Is anyone familiar with the hype cycle or the hype curve? So basically any product or any phenomenon that's happening always goes through this kind of phase. So robotics itself and consumer robots, they got to the peak of inflated expectations about 2005, 2006. This was when iRobot was shipping, Pleo was just about to come out. You had some other sort of consumer robot. There was a big time around there where everyone was talking about robots. And then there was a massive decline in interest because things like big data and the mobile revolution came along. And then we're slowly now starting to climb up the slope of enlightenment, and we're going to get to a plateau of productivity around 2016, I believe. So if you think of this graph as a sort of constant acceleration graph, you can then apply that to how much products are being sold. So because there's a decline doesn't mean that products weren't being sold. So around 2011, so this is a research that was done by Business Insider. So around 2011, there was up to about 2 million units of consumer robots being sold. And you can see slowly there's been a climb, but from 2016, there's expected to be a massive, massive jump where everyone's starting to have robots. And I think that's right because there's a lot of things that the mobile industry has done for us. So we can start outsourcing processing power from the robots onto the smartphones and tablets so that we can have truly amazing products. So the current state of the industry, so coming more into what I do, if you go out there today and try and buy a robotic toy or an entertainment robot, there's a clear divide. You either get really, really crappy, simplistic toys that just run around, burp, fart, something like that. Or you get really complex kits that you just program them, you learn how to do stuff with them, but at the end of the day you can't really do much more than that. Why can't we have the best of both worlds? So this is what my company has been doing. So this is some marketing material that we have. We have created we've created a product called the Mecha Monsters. It falls into the edutainment market. So it's a market that combines education and entertainment into a product. So this market is £2 billion globally and 200 million in the US and Europe alone. The product that we're releasing is called the Mecha Monster. So this will be the world's first robotic gaming system. And some people are saying it's a bit like Pokemon in real life. You have 2 robots that can battle each other. All the battling takes place in real world in front of you. So you have lasers, you have motion, you can swipe at your opponent. You control them by an app on your smartphone. The more you play with them, the more they level up. So this is a gaming character in real life. Now as the robot develops, you can start buying physical add-ons, so shields, boosters that not just change the way your robot looks, but the way they perform. And you can get virtual items as well. And this is all tied into the cloud. So what I really love about robotics is the motion, creating really smooth motion. And what you can then do is outsource all of the gaming processing into the cloud and have all the kinematics going on your robot, so you can have really creative movement that capture people's imaginations. So this is a relatively new market that people are starting to get into. So the way I see the toy industry, there are quite a few big sort of behemoths in there. You've got WoW, you've got WoW stuff, you've got Hasbro. They're creating all these mass-produced products that don't really, have 2 weeks after you bought them for your kid or for yourself, it's in a corner somewhere. Now, young robotics companies are starting to come out with products that people can play with for days and really be happy with and enjoy. So Anki, they're making this sort of Skeletrix robotic car that you race and you can shoot lasers at each other from an app on your smartphone. Robotics have created a Spiro, which Glenn was talking about earlier, and Ollie recently. And these are robots that you can play with, do lots of cool stuff with, and also then program them. So I've talked about the entertainment aspect of our product. We also have another layer, which is a developer layer. So after you bought the robot, you've played with it, what else can you do with it? Well, you can start programming and start creating new skills that you can then show off to your friend that can then be used in battle. So you're learning, having fun, and creating at the same time. And I believe those are the things that will really change the way that the entertainment sort of market is moving forward when it comes to robotics. So just to wrap up, the things to expect within the next sort of 5 years is robot this, robot that. Everyone's going to slap a robot label on their product just to sell it. It's becoming a marketing brand now. And once it's not a robot anymore, it's gained its own sort of brand. So, in the future, I won't have to say that the first gaming robot, I'll just say Mecha Monster. You don't know what it is. There'll be more entertainment startups and products. So, as I showed you, there's just two companies. We also have Romotive, so they're also creating products. We're going to have loads and loads of entertainment startups and robotic products. These people are going to start coming out and creating products that truly capture interest. And finally, I think it's a very exciting next few years because we're going to start seeing these new products. So if you're thinking of starting a robotics company or thinking of investing in one, this is the right time to do it, because come 2016, the market is going to be ready and there needs to be product to go in there. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Silas. Any questions for Silas?